Would you care to step outside? Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you to Super Month. This is pretty much when I'm taking a whole time span of a month and dedicating it to Superman. And why is that, you may ask? Well, because Man of Steel is coming out, and Man of Steel happens to be this little movie with this little character called Superman in it. So I thought, you know what, maybe I should go ahead and take a look at Superman. Because I'm always, putting characters like Batman on a pedestal and saying that this is an awesome character. And I never talk about Superman. But you know what? Fuck that. I'm going to dedicate a whole time span of a month to just Superman and his movies instead of Batman. I already did that with Batman. So that's why this time, all throughout the month of a little bit of May, a little bit of June, pretty much a time span of a month, I'm going to take a look at Superman and his theoretically released movies. And I'm only looking at the movies from 1978 with Superman the movie to 2013 with the Man of Steel. And I know many other live-action Superman material has come up before the 1978 Superman movie, but if I were to look at some of that other stuff, or even stuff that happened after the 1978 Superman movie, I'd probably be here for more than a month. I didn't do that with Batman, so it wouldn't be really all that fair. So I'm going to be fair here. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at some of that other stuff when I do a different Super Month. Whole month of other super, man material. So that said, let's get started with Super Month by reviewing the movie that pretty much started it all, Superman. And what I mean by started it all, I'm not only talking about the Superman franchise, but I'm also talking about the superhero franchise itself. If it really weren't for the success of this movie, we wouldn't really have superhero movies at all. And that kind of does remind me of Superman in general, because if it really weren't for him, we wouldn't really have superheroes at all. Like Batman, or Spider-Man, or The Flash, or Wonder Woman. We really wouldn't have superheroes if it weren't for Superman. Hell, even when you hear the word superhero, what do you think of? Superman. So, of course, it does make a lot of sense that this would start off, that Superman would not only start off superheroes, but his movie would start off the whole superhero genre itself. So, I have to give thanks to Superman for that. If it weren't for this movie, we wouldn't really have Superman, superhero movies at all. And if it really weren't for Superman in general being released in comic books, we really wouldn't have superheroes at all. So, I gotta thank Superman for that. I gotta give him a lot more respect than I really do give him. But with that said, let's stop talking about the whole, Superman story itself. If you want that, then there's probably a bunch of documentaries wherever. But let's actually talk about the Superman movie, Superman the Movie, released in 1978, directed by Richard Donner, and starring many people such as Christopher Reeves, Margot Kidder, Gene Hackman, and Marlon Brando. Now, the cast overall in this movie is phenomenal. They give absolutely amazing performances, just plain and simple. I mean, even just saying that isn't even scratching the surface. That's why I'm going to go ahead and take a look at each actor I mentioned, in depth. Which I'll start off with the, pretty much leading man of the movie, Superman, played by Christopher Reeves. He also plays the alter ego of Superman, Clark Kent, who also does a great job in that. But in my opinion, Christopher Reeves is the definitive Superman, and there really is no other Superman besides Christopher Reeves. Not only does he look the part, but he acts the part. But going back to the looking like Superman, pretty much if you took an image of Superman from a Superman comic book and compared it to Christopher Reeves, the only difference that you would spot is that one image is drawn and one is shot on live action. And he pretty much is a definitive Superman, in my opinion. He looks the part and he acts the part. He acts super confident, super awesome, super badass, and he looks like Superman. And I have to give a lot of credit to the casting directors of this movie, because they really wanted to go ahead with an unknown Superman actor. They really wanted to go ahead and pick an unknown actor to play Superman. And the logic behind that does make a whole lot of sense, because they wanted to pick an unknown actor to play Superman because, they wanted to see the character Superman on screen instead of an actor playing Superman. In fact, Robert Redford was actually offered the role, and it would have made, and while that would have been good, it would have pretty much just been, oh, hey, it's Robert Redford playing Superman instead of Superman actually on the screen. That's why they went with an unknown actor, and I really do like that they went ahead and did that with Man of Steel, picking an unknown actor like Henry Cavill to play Superman. Hopefully he does just as good or even better than Christopher Reeves. I'm really hoping on that. But Christopher Reeves in this Superman movie does an absolutely phenomenal job. He looks the part. He looks like Superman. There is no other Superman than me. He is Superman. And, thanks to him, because if it really weren't for him, we honestly wouldn't have, believed that man can fly. So, rest in peace to you, Christopher Reeves. But not only does he do a good job as Superman, but he also does a great job as Clark Kent. He plays Clark Kent not exactly like Superman, as some would probably expect, but he plays Clark Kent the complete polar opposite of Superman, which makes a whole lot of sense. I mean, he plays the polar opposite of Superman pretty much whenever he is Clark Kent, so that no one suspects him to be, Superman. He plays him more as a bumbling, less confident, and just stuttering, just completely not at all confident, guy. He stutters a lot, he bumbles a lot, he's really just a big klutz, and he's not at all confident, which does make sense, because again, that way, so no one would expect him to be Superman. He also wears glasses, as usual, and, combs his hair in a different way. Just adds to the fact that people wouldn't suspect him to be Superman. But really, do glasses and a haircut and just slouching over really make you look a little bit more different than a guy that pretty much tries not at all the slightest to hide his identity? It's kind of weird. That's a nitpick, pretty much not of the movie, but pretty much the whole Superman franchise in general. But I'm not going to really go into that. I'm here to talk about the movie. But not only Christopher Reeves in the movie, but also Margot Kidder, who plays our leading lady in the film. Lois Lane, who is, again, just like Christopher Reeves, phenomenal in this. And I definitely have to give credit to her, because she doesn't just play the character like many other times before, where she's just a damsel in distress, or she's just there just to be the love interest. Gives the character a whole new makeover, and just gives the character a whole new attitude and just a whole new personality. She's really there not to really be a love interest, but to actually be a character and actually be just all around an interesting and funny character. She probably, out of the whole movie, she probably gets some of the funniest and best cleverly written lines throughout the whole movie, which you wouldn't think, which you definitely wouldn't think. And for the time that this movie came out, that's really, really good. In fact, she's not even a damsel in distress all that much, and to prove that to you, she only gets saved twice in the movie. I think the second time can kind of be argued. So probably once, but I will count the second time. So pretty much she only gets saved twice, which again, at the time this movie came out, really is kind of surprising and a little bit shocking. She is there just not to be a damsel in distress or just to be the love interest. She's spunky, she's wise, and she's really clever, and she's pretty much an all-around great character, which is a big surprise, because I guess at the time Lois Lane wasn't really all that much of a interesting character, but Margot Kidder pretty much made this role her own, and pretty much added a whole new depth to the character, which again, like Christopher Reeve's performance as Superman in this movie, Lois Lane, played by Margot Kidder, is the definitive Lois Lane in my opinion. I really hope Amy Adams in Man of Steel does just as good a job or better as Margot Kidder in this movie, so kudos to that. We also have Gene Hackman playing our main villain in the movie, Lex Luthor, pretty much the most iconic and most well-known Superman villain that pretty much everyone knows. And I liked Gene Hackman in this movie. I haven't seen Gene Hackman's work. I haven't seen a whole lot of his work or in movies he was in, but in this movie, I did like what he did with the character. I did like his performance in the movie, but I didn't like the Lex Luthor that they were playing in the movie. Now, I'm not at all docking the movie for that. I'm not at all bringing the movie down because of the Lex Luthor that they used. That was just a Lex Luthor that they had available at the time. There wasn't really at all a more ruthless or more vicious or more really messed up Lex Luthor, really evil Lex Luthor, like there is today. This was just a Lex Luthor that was available to them back in 1978, so I can't at all bring the movie down for that. This is a more silly, more comical Lex Luthor. Hell, even one of his lines in the movie is, "I am Lex Luthor, the greatest criminal mastermind of the 20th century." I mean, who would say that? That's just completely comical. That just shows you, that line right there just sums up his whole performance in the movie altogether. But it's a great performance, and I'm not at all saying that it was bad. And I'm not at all saying it's bad, and I'm not at all docking the movie for using a more outdated Lex Luthor. That's what worked at the time. That's what was available to them at the time. But now, it's a little bit outdated, but I'm not at all going to dock the movie for that. Gene Hackman does a great job in the movie. And also, Lex Luthor probably has one of the coolest, evil wares ever. Like, even when I was a kid and I watched this movie, I was like, holy shit, I want to be evil just to have that secret wear. I mean, that's probably all you're going to be thinking whenever Lex Luthor is in that place. You're not going to be paying attention to the movie or what's going on. You're just going to be thinking, you know what, I want that wear, I want it now. I will go rob a bank and then go to jail and then break out just to have that wear. That's just how awesome it is. I mean, I know that's kind of a random thing to say, but it really is just that awesome in my opinion. It's just pretty cool looking in my opinion. And we also have Marlon Brando as Jor-El, who is, Superman's biological father in this film. And he's not really in the movie for all that much. I'd say he probably has about 10, 15 minutes of screen time. But for the most part, he does an absolutely great job. And it does seem really funny that Marlon Brando is in this movie because Mario Puzo, who actually did the screenplay for this movie, did the screenplay for The Godfather, who Marlon Brando was actually in. And if you honestly don't know the role that he plays, then, well, you're an absolutely fucking idiot. He played The Godfather. So, he pretty much did a great job for the little screen time that he had in the movie. So, overall, his performance was great. He definitely did a whole lot in just the, little time they had. And I like that it was kind of a little passing torch from Marlon Brando to Christopher Reeves. As, a big-named actor like Marlon Brando is now sort of passing on the torch to Christopher Reeves. Like, Godfather made Marlon Brando a very household name, and now he's passing the torch to Christopher Reeves because this movie, Superman, pretty much made him a household name. But again, I think if anyone was in a Superman movie, that, whoever was playing Superman, an unknown actor, their names would immediately be a, household name. So that was just one thing I liked that they actually did in here, and I like that, just whatever. I got some notes here, so I'm just looking. The production value and the effects in this movie, especially for the time of 1978, are phenomenal. They look beautifully, especially when it's like a scene that takes place at night. Like whenever Superman's flying around, it looks amazing, especially once the colors of red, red, blue, and yellow popping out during the night. It looks amazing. The production value was amazing, and it looked like nothing that, this must have been, mind-blowing for 1978. I heard that they actually had to make up techniques, and new filmmaking techniques just to get this movie going. And it definitely looked that way, because the effects are amazing. Again, especially for 1978, the effects look phenomenal, and they look great. And you truly do believe that a man could fly in 1978. Yeah, sure, there are some moments where it really is, there are some moments where you're like, that's kind of fake, it doesn't really, live up to today's special effects, but pretty much 90% of the effects that are done in this movie look absolutely amazing, and that other 10 are, not that bad. They're they're not that great, but they're not that bad either. I've seen definitely, worse special effects, even done today, that actually, done, back in 1990, not today, but that actually look worse than what was done in this movie in 1978. So, the effects for this movie look amazing, the production value looks great, but a minor thing, the production values on Krypton looked really, really cool, and it looked really crystallized, and just a crystal-based, world. I would have liked to see more Krypton. That was just a minor problem that I really didn't like, and I hope that they show more Krypton in Man of Steel. That's just something that's just a minor little gripe that I had in this movie. I really hope that they show Krypton in Man of Steel, that a little bit more, because you barely spend any time here, and it would have been nice to give Marlon Brando a little bit more, even though he did a great job with what he was given. So that's just my, personal little thing. And, my favorite scene pretty much in the whole movie as a whole is when Lois Lane is interviewing Superman, and, it's, at 8, Superman shows up, and Lois is just asking him questions like, what color's my underwear? Because, when a newspaper reporter asks you a question, one of those questions, of course, is going to be, what is my underwear? Yeah, that's totally not going to end in a sexual harassment lawsuit. Not at all. But that personally is my favorite scene, mostly because it feels like a very improvised scene, but not in a bad way. It feels very, very improvised in a good way. They relied on the cleverness of Christopher Reeves and Margot Kidder instead of just the cleverness of scriptwriters. And it felt very human. It felt very human, especially ironically because it's between an alien Superman and a human being. I really liked that, and it felt very natural instead of script written. It just felt like they relied on the actor's cleverness instead of the cleverness of script writers. That's just my personal problem. That's just my personal opinion. But one of the problems I have with the movie sadly becomes actually in that scene, which is my favorite scene in the movie, which is, why did Superman tell Lois Lane his weaknesses? Like, Lois Lane asked, do you have any weaknesses? And he's just like, well, I can't see through lead, and the only thing that can actually harm or weaken me is this thing called kryptonite, which are radioactive pieces of my homeworld. Why would you tell anyone that? Like, I know he's Superman, I know he's supposed to be, truth, emphasis on truth, justice, and the American way, but I'm pretty sure you can lie about, like, one little thing, especially if it means your health and your life. Like, especially to a news reporter that's going to print this in the news, because anyone can get this and use it against you and use it to their advantage. And wouldn't you know, they do that at the end of the movie. Lex Luthor is told, he pretty much earlier in the movie steals, 2 nuclear missiles, and he shoots them in 2 different directions, one going to where Lois Lane is, and one going to a city, and Superman, has to decide, and he says that the detonator's in this box, that's lined with lead. So Superman can't see through it. So Superman just opens it up. And what happens to be in there? Well, a giant chunk of kryptonite that weakens him. Again, why would you tell anyone this? Why don't you just say, oh no, I'm super invincible, whatever. I bet Lex Luthor would have just said, well, shit, he's super, invincible and incredible. Then what the fuck's, the point in, fighting him? Just screw it. I'll go and rob a bank, I guess. I mean, why would Superman tell that? Tell anyone that? I know he's a super big Boy Scout or whatever, and he has to tell the truth. But again, I think you can lie about something if it means your life. So, yeah, that was just a minor problem that I had in the movie. Nitpicking a little bit, but just a minor little problem in the movie. But the problem that pretty much everybody loves to talk about whenever they're talking about Superman the movie, 1978, is the ending, where Superman Superman fails to save Lois Lane and she sadly dies, which is kind of a sad scene, especially because Margot Kidder did a great job with, the performance that she gave. It made this character really, really memorable and really, really good. She sadly dies, and Superman gets really pissed off that he flies up into the air, and he flies around the world so fast that it reverses time, and he saves Lois Lane before the nuclear missile hits, and then she's, buried alive. I don't even have to go into why this is a really stupid scene, but fuck it, I'm gonna do it anyways. I think the first reason is because earlier in the movie, Lex Luthor pretty much says exactly why the scene doesn't work. Earlier in the movie, like I said, he shoots missiles in 2 different directions, and he says to Superman, even with their magnificent speed, you can't stop both missiles going in 2 different directions. Yeah, he can't stop 2 different missiles going in 2 different directions, but he can fly around the world so fast that it turns back time. That's all the sense in the world right there. That totally makes sense. Like, that just sums up, why the scene doesn't work. Pretty much right there. And, I know some people may, argue that, well, the reason why he could fly around the world so fast and that, turn back time is because he got angry that Lois, died, which, yeah, I guess is kind of a fair argument, but I think another fair argument would be that Superman, if he knew that people's lives were in danger and he knew that people could die, I think he would pretty much be on his A game and immediately be angry or just have adrenaline to do whatever he needs to. And it kind of contradicts the whole, and he would, have enough adrenaline to get both missiles. And besides, he's Superman. Like, having him not be able to get 2 things and going in 2 different directions kind of contradicts the whole thing of faster than a speeding bullet or faster than a locomotive. I mean, it kind of contradicts the character. It kind of makes it, the character look like a complete dickhead and asshole, and not as good as people build him up to be. So that was just a personal problem that I had. Also, I actually have a bunch of notes on that, and I'm gonna go through them in a minute. Also, if he flew around the planet so fast that turned back time, wouldn't there be 2 Superman, one stopping one missile and one stopping the other? And why would he have to stop it if he pretty much stopped it? In the future, he stopped the missile from killing Lois Lane. It's really complicated. I don't even want to go into it because I'm just going to mess up and I'm just going to completely ruin it for you guys. But it's really complicated. And there's if you really want to see a good, explaining of why the scene doesn't work, go check out the Nostalgia Critics Top 11 Dumbest Superman moments. I'll probably put a link in the description. So if you want to check that, out and check out a better, reason for why this scene just doesn't work, check out that video. It's a lot more funnier than this one, probably. But that was just a scene that pretty much everyone loves to bitch about and everyone loves to make fun of whenever they're talking about this particular Superman movie. So yeah, I thought might as well, talk about it because it really doesn't make much sense. And granted, it actually wasn't even supposed to be in this movie. It was actually supposed to be for the second Superman movie, Superman 2. And you can actually see the ending in Superman 2 if you get the Richard Donner Superman cut, which actually is available in this Superman Collector's Edition tin. And in the context of that movie, it actually makes a whole lot more sense. It still is kind of cheesy, and it still is kind of stupid, and it doesn't really add up it doesn't really add up. But in the context of that movie, it makes a whole lot more sense than it does in this movie. It actually kind of cuts the plot holes down from, in this movie, kind of half or just one plot hole, maybe. But in the context of it being done in the second Superman movie, it makes a whole lot more sense. It's stupid and cheesy, but it just makes a lot more sense than that. And I'll go into that, and I'll go into why it makes a lot more sense and if it were going to be used in the second Superman movie when I get to the Richard Donner, cut of the Superman 2. But with that said, Superman overall, but I won't give the movie, an unfair rating because of that, because it wasn't supposed to be used in here to begin with, and it wasn't supposed to be used in here to begin with, but because, Richard Donner got fired, and Richard Lester was rehired, it kind of had to be put in this movie, and, that was about it. So, I won't really dock the movie down all that much for it, but overall, Superman, the movie, in my opinion, is the definitive Superman movie. I know some people may be saying, oh, what about Superman 2? Well, I like Superman 2, but just not as much as this. This, in my opinion, is the definitive Superman movie. If you want to get into the character of Superman, or you're really interested in looking at the character of Superman, definitely check this one out, because in my opinion, it is the definitive Superman movie, and no other Superman movie will probably live up to this. Maybe until the Man of Steel comes out, but I really don't know. So, with that said, Superman the movie, I'm going to give 9 out of 10 stars. Yep, fuck yeah. I gave Bat Month 9, or, 10 out of 10, Batarangs or whatever. This Super Month, the rating system is going to be, right now, for Superman the movie released in 1978, 9 out of 10 red suns. Yeah, I said it. 9 out of 10 red suns. So, with that said, Superman the movie, in my opinion, is the definitive Superman movie. Gonna give it 9 out of 10 red suns. And stay tuned for the rest of Super Month, where I'll be taking a look at all the theoretically released Superman movies from 1978 to 2013 with the Man of Steel. So, with that said, I'm 123 Movies Rule, and stay tuned for the rest of the Super Month, and stay tuned for my next video where I'll be taking a look at Superman 2, the theoretically released version. And after that, I'll be taking a look at Superman 2, the Richard Donner cut. So, I'll see you then, and whatever. Subscribe for more, comment if you like this video, whatever. I'm 123 Movies Rule, and I'll be back with more Super Month. See ya.